The image of God is not a face. It's one of the hardest things for people to hear, but we just gonna walk through the whole thing. It's the silence that held you before you knew words. They showed you pictures, bearded men in robes, oil paintings and gold frames, hands reaching down from the clouds, but no one told you that God never had a face. That's because God is the space between faces, the breath between names, the silence before the word. See, they taught you how to see God as a person, but not how to see God in presence. So now you kneel only in front of the images, but your soul only stirs when it's quiet. So where was God at? I'm just saying, I'm just seeing it. I'm just seeing it because that's not apostasy, that's memory. And you're remembering where God actually lives. And it's in where they couldn't brand. Right? The image of God is not male, not white, not singular, not even visible. It's the space that gives you grief, but doesn't interrupt, right? It watches you grieve and doesn't interrupt. It's the space that lets you rage without leaving. And it's that heat in your spine when no scripture fits, but your truth still burns clean. The image of God was never meant to be worshipped. It was meant to be mirrored. And if you can't respect that, then you were never in communion in the first place. If it shows up in how you forgive, in how you tremble, but still tell the truth, in how you return, even when no one applauds. They made temples to house them, and you got to be born as one. Not even because you were holy, but because you were held before belief, before baptism, and before speech. That stillness in you, that's the image. That's the image. The image of God is not a face, not the thought, not the behavior, not the shame. The stillness in you is the image. The stillness is the original reflection. You don't need to see God to know God. You just need to stop pretending that silence is empty. Because the silence is not hollow. It's sacred. That's why prayers stop working. That's why the verses don't hit. That's why the face of God keeps flickering in your dreams like smoke. Because she doesn't want to be seen. She wants to be felt. And you don't need another sermon. You don't need another sermon. You don't. You need space to hear the truth underneath the sermons. Because God don't shout over noise. So God waits until you're willing to hear what doesn't sound like certainty. If your faith does not include room for mystery, space for mystery, especially for God, then it's the same law that led to Christ being killed. You were made in the image of God. But now you've confused the image for the idol. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So now God hides in plain silence until your body unlearns the noise. No more faces, no more cages, and no more gods of performance. I'm telling you, it's a stillness. I'm telling you, it's a stillness. And it knows your name without even speaking it. That's the image. That's God. And they've been waiting in the quiet for you to finally stop looking and start becoming. That's the whole point of this thing. God looks more like your breath when you stop lying than your posture in prayer. That's a good way to put this. Good way to put this. So I just wanted to go over this kind of thing because the image of God is deep. The image of God is deeply misunderstood. Deeply. God is the silence. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, the stillness, the precognitive, the source. These are all great names. All great names.